I got out of prison today. Well, to get out, I had to go in first. We drove all the way down to Valley State Prison in Chowchilla, which is near Fresno. About 2 hour drive for most of us, except, well, two of us. The rest of the group came up from LA, and they had 4 hour drive, 5 hour drive. It was so worth it. Played against the incarcerated brothers there, and yeah, they were talented. We only had 4 players, so we picked up 3 of the incarcerated brothers and 2 back-to-back games. Some of our players canceled at the last minute, had good reasons. One guy, his wife went into labor, so that's a very good excuse. It was so fun, and it's historic. It's unprecedented because of the model and the results of what's happening in San Quentin with basketball. It's starting to spread. So we got an opportunity, and Raphael, who organized it, is a former. He's a graduate of San Quentin Prison. If you want to hear his whole life story, he just shares it all in the movie Cue Ball for the whole world to see. And yeah, it's not easy. He did bad thing, and but I mean, he's a different guy now, and I can attest to that. Sweetest, neatest guy. That was quite a few years ago, but now, just as just showing of the impact and the model and the leadership that these guys are showing. They were invited by the prison officials back in to start this program there, which is just super, super cool. And this isn't just, things they call hug a thug, where you go in there and it's, this is brass tacks, man. This is talking about hard stuff. These guys have been there, done that. They're able to impart and share with the younger guys and help them intervene before, turn their lives around and share hope. And I tell you, it was a blast. 2 games back to back. They pushed us to our limits. We had to play really hard because we didn't have very many players, and I went off. They didn't have any size to cover me. This picture here is a bit of an exaggeration, but I was taller than them, and I was on my game. Lost the first game by last second 3 points down, and but rather than getting a shot off, they got a steal, went down, scored a layup, finished the game. The second game we also lost by about 5, but it was overall a victory. I shared a word in there about surrender. The best decision I've ever made in my life is to give my life to Jesus and follow Him. How much it's changed my life playing basketball, being in and out of prison for the last 18 years, and the relationships I've built has really changed my life. And that's why I use the term incarcerated brother. One of Brian Acey inside San Quentin one day, I was saying I used the term inmate, and in a meaningful way, and just to say playing against the inmates, and I love it. And he said, please don't call us inmates because it's inmate number, and it's dehumanizing. We're not a number, we're a human being. We prefer you call us incarcerated individuals. Incarceration is a state, but who we are as people. Since then, I've been referring to them as my incarcerated brothers, because that's how I feel. And, it's a deeper revelation of grace. You hear their backstories and the trauma they went through, but you realize, man, I don't know if I would have done much better if I had grown up without a father in the same circumstances they grew up in. And this isn't excusing their deeds. That's not the issue. The issue is believing people can transform and inspiring them to do that and facing the truth. And also on the flip side, realizing we need to face the truth as well about the darkness in ourselves. And when you understand that, you can extend grace. And I've never been incarcerated, done very few things that would qualify me for getting in trouble, although I've done some. Um, but I was not put in the circumstances they were put in. So who am I to brag about that? Um, I had so much grace on my life. And the other word I shared, I mean, it is so great to be able to play and connect and just build these relationships. And they had a blast. We had a blast. Hope we can go back. Other word I shared was about surrender. And every good thing that's come in my life has come after I've gotten to the place of just totally surrendering it to the Lord and trusting Him to lead me, trusting in providence and His goodness, that He's with me and that He's got my back. And, after I graduated from college, I really wanted to play professionally, and I was doing well. I thought I had opportunities. I was playing against, some of the pros, the NBA players, and the D1 players at UCLA, and I was holding my own. I played in LA Pro-Am League, and I did well. And I had a couple leads that I thought would pan out, and those never came up. And the whole dream had to die, and I just had to surrender it to the Lord. And that was a real death for me. We worked so hard for that for so long. And I just had to, okay, if isn't what you have for me, and just moved on with my life and just started focusing on the mundane things that I didn't like, I didn't want to do, but this is what's in front of me, and I started pursuing that path. And it was interesting. About a couple of weeks later, I started feeling joy, the joy of the Lord restore, and I realized, God, you really are enough. I don't need to play basketball to have a meaningful life and to be content. And it was like He was just waiting for me to learn that answer, to learn that lesson. And like He smiled on me. Next week, I get a call from an agent in Portugal. But by then, my heart had changed. I didn't try to boast about who I was, how good I was. I wasn't doing all that jockeying. And I was at that place that, if I get this opportunity, I just want to go there and serve the Lord. And if that's it, what He has for me, great. If not, that's fine with me too. And the agent said, that's exactly what I was waiting to hear, because we had another player here. He was embarrassing us, and he had to leave. That was what I wanted to hear. And a week later, I was on a plane to Portugal, fulfilling my dream, playing professionally. So, God gives us promises. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He'll give you the desires of your heart. And that's my philosophy. You got to keep learning it. It's the next trial, the next lesson you go through. You got to walk it out again. But it's so true. And surrender is the best practice. So I got to share that with the brothers inside Valley State Prison. They were inspired, and it's a good day. God is good.